let's get stuck into all of that. As I've said there, Shay, it was a hell of a first half of football.
Yeah, I mean, it was a brilliant start from Brentford. If we're being honest, Ederson made 2 great saves in the first 10 minutes. I think that was crucial. I think obviously Foden got us back in level terms just before half time, which is great timing for our goal. But yeah, it was a quiet start for some reason. I don't know, City didn't come out of the blocks that we maybe said before the game that they would do. But you know, got to give Brentford credit as well. They've played really well first half, and you know, it's just nice to get that goal before half time.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely changes the half-time team talk, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it does. You know, really eventful first half, like Shay said. Fantastic finish from Phil, because it looked as if we were huffing and puffing a little bit. You know, there was a lot of things happening in the box. I know there was at least 2 or 3 penalty shouts. But no, great time to score. I mean, any time's a great time to score, but good in half-time, 1-1. The boys will be ready to come out second half. I think you've got to give Brentford a bit of credit, especially the first 15-20 minutes. You know, they really came after us. If anything, after they scored, they seemed to drop off a little bit. But they look a threat in the break. But you know, the thing about this team, we never know when we're beat. We go behind and we don't change. We keep playing our football. The belief in there that it's going to come off at some point, and that's what happened in the 46th minute.
Before we get into all the key moments of the half, I just wondered to you both, what is it that Brentford have done maybe that surprised you to obviously kind of keep them in the game? Because we're so used to seeing the low block team. It's not quite been that.
Not really. Well, maybe a bit surprised, as you say, Kel, because they have, especially the first 15-20 minutes, they really went on the front foot, pressed the lads high at the back, you know, even Ederson at times, and didn't let us get into our sort of rhythm or play so much from the back. And you know, as you say, a lot of teams come to the Etihad and they just like sit on the edge of the box and try and hit on the counter attack, you know. But as Paul mentioned as well, they did change after they scored. They actually got a bit deeper, and it looked like two lines of 5, as Andy mentioned in his commentary, you know. But yeah, they started really positive. And again, I don't know if we mentioned before, but about the set plays, we talked about they've got a set play coach, how important set plays are for all clubs now.
Yes.
But I think Brentford really focused on that, and obviously their goal comes from a set play.
Speaking of that goal, I mean, Ederson had pulled off 2 cracking saves, so I'm sure before that will be you know, gutted to concede, but it was that man Tony who he was singling out and has had a great season.
That is, and it's no secret, like Shay said there, that they work ever so hard on set pieces, as much as they do in how they're going to do in team play. And you know, every free kick they've had, even in their own half, David Raya, the goalkeeper's come out and took it. They've put everybody up top, and they look to win second balls. We spoke about that before the game. You know, Ben Mee talk about winning second balls. The first contact's the most important one. Sometimes he's went up there and he's won it. And if you're going to be honest, we've got to say that Brentford probably deserved to be ahead at that point. You know, the chances that they had.
And we were waiting for kind of a reaction, as you say. It felt like just things weren't going our way, and then we got to what was a very chaotic 5 minutes in the box. Shay, I'm going to begin with the first one, which was the handball, which was then given as a free kick. That was right in our corner, and I really thought it was in the box. Thoughts on that incident?
I mean, the ref got it right. In a sense, he pointed for a free kick. We all thought, you know, from the angle we were at, it's definitely a penalty. But the replay showed, and I think VAR were looking at it as well, of course, and it wasn't conclusive, if we're being honest. It wasn't 100% nailed on in the box. There was a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Grey area. It wasn't completely in the box. It could have been. I think Paul, you mentioned on the lines, the penalty, whatever, but I don't think it was totally conclusive.
Okay,
it's so difficult because it is so tight, and we seen it 2 or 3 times afterwards, and we still couldn't quite make our mind up whether it was. So you've got to give the referee the benefit of the doubt in that one. Yeah. Not that I like doing that.
So it was then given as a free kick, and then Paul, you were then keeping an eye on the box because there was a look at. I mean, there was. What's quite funny is I think ironic cheers. A lot of City fans cheering at anything for a handball at that point. But there was 2 incidents. There was an Haaland pull in the box that was looked at. And you'll say, and I would love to know your opinion on that, but you were saying as well there might have been one missed on John Stones.
Yeah, there was, but they didn't even look at it. You know, listening to Alistair on the commentary, I've seen the replay again. I think they focused on the handball, first and foremost VAR, and then they've looked at the Haaland one, and they've not even looked at the John Stones one, which if they had went and looked at it, it would have been it's a stonewall penalty.
Really, yeah.
So whether, because it was that chaotic and they're looking at that many things that they missed it out, but surely VAR is there to sort that out, regardless of how many instances it happens in. And you know, when you see it back again, he's been pulled to the ground.
Yeah,
it's a definite penalty. But as I said, whether they've looked at the Haaland one, looked at Bernardo Silva's one for that long, they've maybe just missed it out. But VAR is there not to miss these things out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of eyes that sit in that VAR room as well, so how not one set have seen it, maybe it is a surprise once again. But what that did do, Shay, is it seemed to galvanise the team. There was definitely then an increase in atmosphere from the fans inside the Etihad, and then we seemed to found our rhythm for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, they did sit a bit deeper, to be fair, Brentford, so then the lads have to pass it more, move the ball quicker, get them, trying to shift them, and as Andy mentioned again in commentary, trying to break the lines. But Brentford, as I say, they're really making it difficult. 2 blocks of 5 basically on the edge of their box. Then But as Paul's mentioned, a brilliant strike from Phil Foden just on half time. It's a phenomenal strike because it's so easy to lean back and hit that over the bar or not get over it. But he made it look really simple. He's got his knee over the ball. And it's a brilliant finish and give Raya no chance in the Brentford goal.
I mean, right into that top right. And was the De Bruyne corner flick on, do we think, from Akanji? I'm just thinking anyone fantasy-wise might be looking for an assist somewhere.
I was hoping it was going to be Kev De Bruyne, but I think Akanji's done well just to sort of flick it on and take it away. So Brentford have defended really well. As much as it's been 2 banks of 5, they've been really narrow and protected their goal and protected their 18-yard box. So anything that we are trying to thread in between the lines, they've always got bodies in and around it. And, the chance just before that was when Phil Foden got in wide and had his shot. So I think the spaces are going to be out wide because they're defending so narrow. So that's what we've got to look at.
Half-time team talk. What do you think will be being said in the City dressing room for them maybe to come out and stem that press from Brentford possibly if they come out again and maybe go on to
again and limit daft free kicks, because as Paul says, the goalkeeper's up the halfway line, launch it onto the edge of their box, and that's a strong point from them. But again, just trying to move the ball quick. Maybe as Paul mentioned as well, keep the width a bit more. Keep trying to stretch them. Trying to pull bodies out of positions and then gaps open for the Haalands and Foden and Silvas and the likes, and obviously maybe get De Bruyne in a bit more. He's trying to get that that little sort of inside right area to get the crosses on. But I think Brentford have really shut Kevin down. They really sort of worked pre-game on that as well as trying to keep him quiet. If they can do that, probably they're thinking they keep City quiet. But I think as the game goes on, Kel, they'll tire. They'll switch off. Legs get heavy and stuff. Because that's what we'll see hopefully in second half. City can get a few more goals.
We've said it so often, haven't we, when teams come and do that you've just got to keep patient and keep doing the right things because it's so hard and virtually impossible to defend like that for 90 minutes. The amount of effort they're putting in, keep saying it. The first thing when you're physically tired that goes is you switch off. And it just takes for one of them to switch off. As we've seen the quality we've got, I'm sure the chances will come.
Speaking of quality we've also got options to come on from the bench if they do start to tire a little bit, which you've seen teams do. Who would you look for, Paul, to maybe come on? And I
think that the one that stands out is Jack, especially after his recent performances and the performance the other night there against Chelsea. He looks so sharp, quick, was making things happen. So if needed to change it up a little bit, Jack will go and drag people out of position. They'll find it difficult, but he's the one at the minute. If it needed to get changed, that will probably bring on.
Could you see from Brentford's side? Do you think they'll maybe be galvanised by how they started the game and maybe try and turn to that?
Definitely, I think Thomas Frank at half time will be super positive with his team. They've not done much wrong. Raya made one save, I think, off Foden on the angle, and then obviously the goal. But Ray's not made loads of saves. It's not like they're clearing stuff off the line or hitting the post. We're not bombarding them, So I think Thomas Frank will relatively be happy. And again, they'll say, if we get set plays, just take your time, set things up. Make them defend their box, defend the goal, and if they can sneak one back again, then it makes it an edgy second half.
It must be so difficult being in that changing room at half time with Thomas Frank and his staff because they've done ever so well that first 20 minutes and the disappointment of conceding just before. Now, is the mindset just to go away here with a point, or do they look at that first 20 minutes and think we can probably nick it here? So, but then if they do go for it, as the game's saying, they tire out a little bit. That's when the gaps are going to open. So,
I did mention Ederson at the start of the piece, but we shouldn't forget them 2 big saves. Two massive saves at the start of the game, really. 1v1 with Tony, and then obviously I can't remember the Brentford striker, but a brilliant, cutback in the penalty spot. He's made another brilliant save there, so they'll be massive come the end of the game. Ederson sometimes doesn't get the credit he deserves. If City go 1-1 it, then it'll be Haaland or De Bruyne, whoever scores the winning goal. But them saves are big as well at the start of the game.
Goalkeepers union there, isn't it?
there is.
You got to get it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's things. Well, particularly thinking now, if you think as well, there was in the Leicester game as well. We've seen, I think some incredible shot stopping from Ederson, which we maybe because we dominate so much, we don't get to see that side of his game, but. Great to see that's still very much a strong part
as well. Midweek, how well he done, and then Ederson playing brilliant again today. So Javi and his team are working hard, obviously, in the coaching staff as well with the goalkeepers. But hopefully, as I say, we're talking about the strikers in the second half and getting goals again. But you have to. You mentioned at the start of the game as well, Kel, about how many clean sheets Ederson's kept as well in the Premier League as well, which is a phenomenal record. And he'll be gutted with that goal, of course, today. But it wasn't his fault at all.
No, and I guess so. The other players that we could maybe see be making a difference. De Bruyne and Bernardo seem to be linking up quite well, Paul.
Yeah, they do. But and Bernardo, look, he's been fantastic. I actually prefer him in the middle of the park. I think the energy that he brings, he makes things happen. And I think he's still a fantastic player when he plays out wide, but I think it takes something a little bit away from the game because he wants to be involved everywhere and show that energy. But De Bruyne and him down this right-hand side, you know, and Rico Henry's done a really good job there, but he's 2v1 a lot of the time. And you know, as Shay said before, we need to get the ball wide and use the spaces there because they're so compact in the middle.
Absolutely. Well, listen, let's hope we'll do just that, gents. Thank you very much. We're going to be back at full time. Liam Broady will be back with us in the studio as well. And if you've got some burning questions, you can send us your WhatsApp number for all the questions that you want to get involved with as well. Speaking of questions, I mean, we want to give a shout out here to Nicholas, who's watching all the way from Trinidad. This one came in from King P, who says, I do think Grealish deserved a place in the starting lineup after his staggering performance against Chelsea. What do you think he can maybe do to keep in that vein form, and he's asked to maybe get some more goals?
Well, I think Jack just needs a bit of luck actually from the goal. I mean, Mendy in the cup the other night was brilliant for Chelsea. Some of the saves he pulled off of Jack, and again we spoke off me and Paul in the first half about the derby of Man United here. You know, Foden on the right, Jack on the left, and Erling up top. Like, they were phenomenal. 2 hat-tricks obviously from Foden and Haaland, but Jack that day was brilliant as well. Sort of went under the radar again the next day in the media, whatever you have. But you know, that would probably be the obvious choice, I think, if they were taking someone off the bench. I mean, Alvarez as well can come on. He looks sharp when he plays really as well, you know. But I think Jack just needs a break in front of the goal. If he can get that goal, then again it'll give him a bit of confidence.
I think he's been brilliant.
Yes.
Every time he's been called upon, he's been one of our best players. People will always look at his goals and his stats, but he's doing an unbelievable job for the team, which is a team full of world-class players, and he's standing out every time he plays.
Absolutely. Well, listen, gents, there they are. We can see the linesman there and the referee making their way out, and those blue socks mean that the Manchester City players are making their way out. So I'll be handing back over to your commentary team today on the Manchester City app, which is Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison. Then come join us at full time, and as we say, hopefully we'll be using those wide spaces, and we'll be talking about our strikers and midfielders getting these all-important 3 points. Remember, our last game before the World Cup. So please come join us. Thank you for watching. Come on, City. And here's Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison with your commentary.
Well, welcome back to the Etihad Stadium, which has been buzzing at half-time. So many talking points, so many incidents to reflect upon, so many chances for both teams, to be fair. Ederson has made a couple of great saves, and Phil Foden's rasping drive in stoppage time at the end of the first half